Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is many a true nerd, and welcome to Thrones of Britannia, a Total War Saga. No 10-minute time limits, no limitations on what I can show you. We're finally here, it's a brand new Total War game, and I just get to dive in and show you everything. And isn't that just flipping lovely? Oh, it's historical Total War, it's back! And not only is it historical Total War, it's British historical Total War in the really rather fascinating 9th century. And 9th century British history is really cool, but also a not particularly well-known bit of history, I think. So I think it's really darn cool that we get to have a Total War game here. Let me give you the really brief version. So basically, from the beginning of the 9th century, Vikings would just kind of show up. They were kind of from over here or something, and they'd arrive in England, and they'd be all like, oh, look at all this stuff that barely anybody's guarding. We should probably have all this, it belongs to us now. And then they'd naff off again, so they just raid for a bit. However, in 865 they decided, hang on, instead of coming here every year and stealing all the stuff, how about we just like move in and we just own the stuff from now on? The Vikings thought that was a fantastically good idea. The English weren't so convinced because the English already lived there. Unfortunately, the English didn't really get a say in this because they weren't very good at defending their country against the Vikings that were coming in and decided they just wanted to live there. So within about 6 years, at 871, we've actually got the situation where probably just over half of what we would consider to be England today is actually in the hands of the Vikings. They control broadly the north and the east, meanwhile the English are down in the south and the west. The Viking expansion slows down a bit at this point and then stops in 878 AD at the Battle of Edington when Alfred, the leader of Wessex, the biggest remaining group of the English, there he is right there, he's actually on screen right now, defeats Guthrum of the Vikings. And that is where this game begins, with an uneasy truce between the English and the Vikings. And I'd say that's a rather fun place for us to actually kick off. Not being Wessex, of course, being the biggest faction on the map with a whole bunch of vassals seems to be on the boring sides to me. No. I'd say, as we proved in our Medieval 2 Total War playthrough, Vikings are awesome. And in real history, the Vikings didn't actually do very well at this point. So how about we go about changing some history?
Enemy blood will flow!
That's right, enemy blood will flow, Guthrum. I think me and you could get on with each other. So as I've already played this a little bit, yeah, let's set the campaign and the battle difficulties up to hard. This is apparently a bit of a challenging campaign anyway, but that's fine because I'm a Viking, so I'm going to have some super awesome strong axe infantry, which is always great fun indeed. Let's dive in and change some history, shall we?
We came to these lands from across the sea to pillage and conquer. For a decade, our army left a trail of destruction, but it did not last. The army was divided, with half heading to Northumbria and the rest pushing on, only to be defeated. But our story does not end there. A treaty was signed, ceding East Engles to us. We must rebuild. Our time will come again, and we will be ready!
I do love the art style of the cutscenes. So, welcome to our empire in modern day East Anglia, which if you're in England might mean something, and if you're not, probably won't. But this is East Anglia. Basically, it's this sticky outy bit on the edge of England. You know what? I'll go into the strategic map. That's probably a bit more useful. So I start off with a relatively large empire, all things considered. Probably like one of the larger empires going on the map, actually. But it's an interesting empire, because large parts have got their back to the sea, if you like. You'd probably think that's going to be a good thing. It's not necessarily, because remember how I mentioned earlier how, like, you know, for the past century or so, lots of Vikings and raiders have been showing up and saying, ooh, England, I'll just have all of their stuff. Now that we actually live here, unfortunately, we forgot to actually write back to, like, you know, the Vikings or whatever and say, by the way, stop raiding England now. No, more people are coming in, and now they want to raid us. So raiding fleets will be showing up from the sea. So even though I start off with a large empire, there are gonna be problems over time. Problem number 2. See this great big red thing down here? Literally the biggest empire on the map. That's Wessex. Wessex hates me, and I hate Wessex. And yeah, we only just basically got done fighting a war according to history, so there's a good chance we're probably going to end up at war with them sooner or later. And part of the reason for that as well is, if I just actually go into the diplomatic screen here, Wessex doesn't exactly have a huge number of people it wants to take out. So Wessex is in yellow around there. you'll notice how, yeah, green, that's one of their vassals. That's one of their vassals. Sussex, that's Kent, that's one of their vassals. These two territories of the south of Wales, those are their vassals as well. And Merse is one of the other English factions, so they get on pretty well just because they've got cultural similarities. So basically, the only factions that actually have a border with Wessex, who they don't like, is us and one of the other Viking factions. So we've pretty much got an inevitable war with Wessex going on. This is why the game says it's a hard starting position. But we do have advantages. Remember how I mentioned how the Vikings held about half of England? Well, fortunately, it's this half over here pretty much. So, if I go over here, sure, Wessex hates me, and Merse isn't so desperately keen, but all these guys over here, these are Vikings. Me and them, we could become friends very, very easily indeed, potentially. So there's a real big question as to what I want to do first here, because I could start consolidating control over here, taking over a few small Viking factions, but if I declare too many wars against Vikings, the other Vikings won't like me, so I need to be a little bit careful with that. I could try and pick off Kent or Sussex, but bear in mind, as they're vassals of Wessex, that's just going to pull Wessex's attention to me. And sooner or later, yes indeed, there are raiders coming in. So basically, what I need to do is I need to start getting an army on the ground, like flipping now. The game starts me off with two small armies. There's Guthrum himself, with apparently the army called Thunder and Lightning. Good name, happy with that. He's got to take out a little rebel faction here. Just as is quite frankly tradition in Total War, yeah, you start off with a starting army and a rebel force to take out just to teach you how a battle works. Except, yeah, in Thrones of Britannia, there's a special thing attached to it, which is you always get the mission Humble Beginnings, or I'm not sure if it's always called Humble Beginnings. It's always the same mission anyway. Defeat the rebel army, you get internal stability. That means that your armies regenerate health 50% faster for 5 turns, and also you get happiness across the empire. Now, 50% unit replenishment is very important, because when you train new units, they start off weak. Basically, this is a gift from the game to you to train up your first army, and you want to be taking advantage of it. So we basically want to kick this guy's ass and then train a new army. We've also got a second army up here with 4 people inside it. This is the Slain Warriors. Okay, not good name, guys. Not good name. The Warriors Who Slay. Now that's better. Now there's a few mechanics to introduce, but I'll introduce them as they become relevant, to be honest. The starting one that's most important is food. Right now I have a food surplus of 105. Each unit I recruit is basically worth 10 food in upkeep. Money isn't really the problem for armies. Money is mainly about upgrading your settlements. The limiting factor for armies is always going to be food in this game. That means I need to spend my initial treasury getting in as much food as possible, as quickly as possible. So time to give my empire a quick once over here. Because yes indeed, rather conveniently, anything with a green background is like farm or food producing. So that produces a little bit of money, but obviously green stuff is mainly about producing food. So as a result, the amount of money it produces is not going to be so impressive. Meanwhile, yellow stuff is basically around money producing, so that's like market-related stuff, and grey is industry, which tends to produce the most money, but also generates the most unhappiness, because people don't like doing these jobs, they're not pleasant. Luckily, that's where purple buildings come in. Purple is religious, and religious makes people happy. So you can offset penalties from industry with more religion. So yeah, if there's actually industry and religion in the same province, that's actually very, very useful indeed. Just a reminder in case you've forgotten or didn't see my previous videos, by the way, the province system is back. So this over here is a single province with Norwich as the capital and then 3 sub-regions. The sub-regions, unlike in Warhammer 2, cannot have walls, cannot have garrisons, they never will. No matter how much you upgrade, you cannot have walls or garrisons at your sub-regions. So they are extremely vulnerable. They also just have what they have. So this territory here just has, yeah, this one down here, just has a farm. That is what's there. I cannot demolish it and build something else there. It's just what it's for. So as a result, you might want to specialise. So because there's, say, 2 farm buildings inside the province of Norfolk, I might want to, say, upgrade Norfolk's main city and then use the new slot I unlock by upgrading the main city to have, say, something that provides benefit to all green farm buildings, for an example. But Norfolk looks like it's fairly unremarkable. Let's just quickly check the rest of the empire, because I've got a fairly big empire. Now, that's not really an advantage, because plus 1,500 odd, that's not much money for an empire this size. I'm going to be stretched thin. That's why it says this is a hard initial challenge. Let's go over to, the next one down. So, Rendlesham. What's that in modern England? I don't know, you know. This is effectively what the game is deeming to be my, like, faction capital. You can tell because of the important red buildings. Red buildings are very important. So red buildings produce, yeah, there's the law field, which turns into the thing field. I love how thing is just, yeah, an important law thing in Old Britain. That's very, very good indeed. And the long haul, which is very important because, yeah, it increases how fast and how many people you can recruit across your entire empire. Because, just a reminder, recruitment now works by every unit that you have technologically unlocked is available to any general who is standing inside a city or is encamped inside, I think, any friendly territory you have to be encamped inside in order to recruit if you're not actually in a town. So, as a result, I can actually recruit any of these guys. Some of them I haven't got the tech for yet, so we'll need to get some technology on the go and we actually have the prerequisites for researching that tech. Unfortunately, yeah, once you've actually emptied the pool, there's only a certain chance the pool will replenish over time. Upgrading the big important red buildings increases the number of units in the pool and the rate at which they replenish, which is very, very important indeed, because you may notice, even if I recruited literally every unit that's currently available to me, that's only how many? Literally only 13 units are actually available to me. So even if I trained literally every unit currently available, I wouldn't have a single full stack army right now if I was to get, say, Guthrum to recruit all of those. So I do need to potentially get more people that are recruitable as soon as possible. So those are kind of my starting priorities. I need to be upgrading my long haul into a great haul, and I need to get some food into production, like flipping now. Now here's the big one right here. Colchester, which also has the advantage of, yeah, being an old Roman city, so it has old Roman walls, so a tough nut for anyone to crack. Very, very good indeed. And this is just full of economic yellow buildings. So this place is going to be producing a lot of money for the Empire. You'll notice up here, Norwich producing, yeah, 300 odd, Rendlesham 250, this place 382, because it's got the economic buildings in it. Very, very good indeed. In fact, yeah, because there's so many economic things here, I'm actually going to get Colchester upgraded immediately. That's going to take 6 turns to do, but that will unlock an extra slot, which might let me make a hell of a lot more money with these economic buildings. Potentially anyway. And also, down at the bottom of the empire, we've got little kind of runt provinces, because I don't own the full province here. So we've got London here, which right now makes no money. It will be able to make money in future, because, yeah, basically it's a market settlement. It's got a trading post, and it's got a trade wharf. So instead what it's doing is it's actually passing benefit on to Colchester. So Colchester makes the money from various bonuses that are being passed on to it by London right now. But London itself makes nothing. But London also has good Roman walls. Problem, London is actually the barrier between me and Wessex. I say problem, that's not a bad thing. Because, well, there's some good, oh, look at that, economic stuff. These two settlements down here, Guildford and Evesham, these are actually economic buildings. If I took those over, London would start making crazy money, but they belong to Wessex. I probably don't want to poke that bear until I'm absolutely certain I'm ready for it, until I've sorted out my economy, until I've actually managed to, yeah, get some good amounts of food in, so I've actually got the ability to have a decent army chilling out in London. And we've also got St Albans up here. That's got itself... that's also producing some food, together with an abbey for happiness, but the rest of the territory belongs to, yeah, 2 belonging to my vassals. These guys are my vassals, so they'll follow me into any war, which is good, and this belonging to another actual Viking faction. So actually, this works for me, because my only land border up north is with a tiny, crappy Viking faction who doesn't actually even own a proper city with walls. He's just actually got 2 little sub-regions, so no garrisons, no walls, no anything. The chances of him causing trouble seems pretty low. Still, first things first, let's actually just get Guthrum defeating this bastard. So, let's get you down there and introduce the armies, because I've got myself, yeah, I've got some strong axe and sword infantry, because that's what the Vikings are good at. I've also got a handful of archers, and yeah, some spearmen, and Guthrum himself is on foot. He does not actually have cavalry. That's an interesting thing about Thrones of Britannia. You're probably used to, like, all the generals pretty much having cavalry. No. In Thrones of Britannia, plenty of them are actually elite infantry instead. Unfortunately, Thrones of Britannia is set in Britain. As a result, it's raining quite a bit of the time. Oh, thank goodness, an actual sunny day. Bit of cloud, but you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. Right, let's get these lads set up. So, looks to me like I might actually be able to get on some high ground over here to give my archers a bit of an edge, because those guys are obviously on the defensive right now. Let's see if we can just get up there. But bear in mind, Thrones of Britannia is a little bit hardcore when it comes to the question of line of sight, which is it will block off large parts of the battlefield. I know that did actually happen in Warhammer 2, say. In Warhammer 2, they were a bit more generous about letting you see, I think. In Thrones of Britannia, they are pretty brutal with basically blocking your line of sight if they think you shouldn't be able to see. So large parts of the battlefield are hidden in shadow. Now let's just slowly start pushing our way forward here. Right now, our archers are not in range and neither are theirs. But it looks to me like if I just gently keep pushing just the tiniest bit more in this direction, we should probably have a really, really nice little up. Oh yeah, we've got a nice little uphill advantage. I haven't really had a chance to test yet how well archers on high ground do in this game, but this seems like an excellent opportunity to find out. And in addition, there's some nice rocks in the way, so if they try and charge forward, that might just slow them down. Let's also just make sure my archers, as they're nice and hidden, are off skirmish mode, and I can have my archers on standard shot, which is a bit better at armor piercing, or flaming shot, which is a little bit better versus cavalry. Now, what I want my archers to do as a starting point is, if the cavalry comes in this direction, I want them to see off the cav. So I suspect, as they've got cav and I don't, that's going to be the first point of engagement. Now, as I've got the high ground, I'll probably get into range of them before they get into range of me. So let's just actually have everyone just move forward the tiniest bit. And there we go. Right, so everything now kicks off. My archers are ready to start firing, and their cavalry is, as I would have suspected, running straight in. No, focus on the cav for the time being. Focus on the cav. And this is bonus damage versus cavalry right here. They're taking fire. They're trying to charge. They're going into my long axemen right now. My spearmen are actually on the other side. But let's just get you guys over here. You guys go back into normal shot and take out these lads. In fact, actually, let's start talking about the new tactics that work very nicely in this game, which is hammer and anvil still a thing. Except here's the interesting thing. You don't actually necessarily want cavalry to be the anvil anymore. These guys are being seen off. That works for me. You guys get round over here. Block up this way. Hang on. Pause the game for a second. The cavalry's naffing off. Yeah, these days, archers make very, very good hammers. So I've got my archers round here. I'm now going to have my archers fire into the back of these here spearmen. And they're going to do a really, really damn good job of it as well. I've also got, yeah, my spearmen right here. I'm just going to move into this position. I've got the long axemen, they're going to move into this position. I've got Guthrum himself, who's just going to move forward. And these archers are going to go back to standard shot and start laying some fire down onto the royal bodyguard. Why not, eh? So, that's going to work pretty nicely. My archers might be fired upon by their archers. No, their archers are shooting elsewhere for the time being. You guys, back to standard shot. So now my archers line up their shots and begin firing into the back of these lads. And these guys are just going to, quite frankly, melt. You guys, those are the long axemen. Long axemen taking on spearmen is not a problem. And my spearmen can charge into the royal bodyguard. Now, that's not perfect, but it'll keep them busy. And you, get over here. Because, yeah, the cavalry's coming back in. See off the cavalry, please. You should see off the cav. Those guys are now leaving. This works for me. Let's actually get my archers firing over here. You guys get over here and provide some support. The cav is just breaking. At this point, my archers might want to actually fire on their archers just to get them out of the way. These guys are broken, but they're not shattered. They will almost certainly regroup. Almost everything regroups in this game. You guys, get over there, hit these guys. You guys, get over here if you can. I'd like to flank these guys and hit these lads. These guys are, yep, those spearmen are indeed, as I would have suspected, back. So, archers, turn and fire if you can. There's one round right there. They're wavering. I'd like you just to actually flee. Keep your distance. Those guys have already broken. My king at this point can now be deployed into the battle. These archers are just seeing these guys off. And you wandered off chasing down that cavalry. Doesn't really work for me, to be honest, but we're still definitely having the best of it. And my archers are also getting around the side. Hit these spearmen. Actually, you don't even need to hit these spearmen. Hit these guys in the back. And basically, these archers are just keeping these guys busy. They're not doing anything right now. These guys are going to fall apart in no time at all now. This bodyguard, these spearmen. Basically, guys, just surround their leader. He's pretty much screwed at this point. These guys are just Benny Hilling these guys out of the way, and my archers can fire on their archers. Lovely. At this rate, yeah, their bodyguard is going to be torn apart in seconds. Not least as friendly fire is a thing, so he is being fired upon by his own archers, albeit a little bit on the accidentally side. And the enemy general dies, and as a result, a bunch of stuff just shatters instantaneously. Problem is, I don't have any cav, so I can't really chase any of this down, which is a shame. So, battle done. Took a few knocks there, but for the most part, you can see that, yeah, my good quality swordsman in particular can just stand up to anything. That's the strength of my line. It's going to be good quality infantry. So, now we decide his fate. We can either basically, yeah, sell him back to his friends or whatever through ransoming and releasing captives, so that just gets me a tiny bit of money. Take on warriors, which increases the rate at which I'm regenerating my own guys, or kill them. Now, if I kill them, there's a better chance that this guy won't live to fight another day. So if I'm lucky, no. I think actually he managed to get away on that occasion. That's fine. I'll just need to chase these guys down. So after them we go. And this time I think I'm happy to auto-resolve. You choose what stance to go with. Aggressive obviously means you're more likely to do damage, but you're more likely to take casualties as well. Balanced is for the middle ground. Or defensive, you're going to do less damage to them, but you'll take less damage yourself back as well. So as there's basically nothing here but a handful of troops, let's just go in for the aggressive attack. And I think we tried to cut his hand off there, but it didn't work very well. And he drama queens to death. Beautiful. So he goes down, job done. He's definitely dead, so I guess we may as well like help ourselves to 30 money. And there's 30 money, and there's the internal stability. So for 5 turns, we've now got the ability to train units like super fast. So Guthrum needs to basically head back towards a city as soon as possible. And actually, he's also just leveled up too, which is very, very good indeed. So leveling up now basically affects your retinue. Every time you level up, you can either add a new member to your retinue or level up someone who's already there. So I start off with one champion who gives you a command star and also makes your general's unit more effective. This can be very, very powerful indeed because command stars also give you increased bodyguard size. So a command 10 general will have double the size of his bodyguard, and if you've actually got yourself a champion up to level 5 as well, they'll also have bonus armor, bonus charge bonus, bonus morale, bonus melee skill. They're just basically really, really, really damn good. At that point, you will have God-tier generals bodyguards, which in all fairness used to be pretty standard back in Total War days. These days, generals start off soft and squishy. If you want to have God-tier ridiculously hardcore generals bodyguards, you've got to invest, and I like that change. Alternatively, scribes make more money for local provinces. Bards increase zeal, and zeal is good for morale and local public order. Foragers increase unit replenishment rates, which is very, very good indeed, together with just producing a bit more food. Pillagers increase raiding income, but honestly, because I'm a Viking, I already get tons of flipping raiding income already, but potentially that might be worth. Actually, does that also increase? Hang on, what does that do when you get up to max levels? So, ooh. Stops foreign replenishment inside your province, sacking income plus 20% when general, yeah. Potentially the Vikings, if you had a full strength pillager together with just being a Viking, yeah, you could make crazy money by sacking a city, then you could reinvest that elsewhere in your empire. Quartermaster, he's my personal favourite, I've always liked him. So he actually starts off giving you movement range and then reduced upkeep and then more supplies and, yeah, actually recruitment costs down. I don't think I had an impact on this guy, because when I first played this game and did the previews, I said this guy's super powerful, I always give my generals nothing but quartermasters, and then the next time I played it, they'd actually nerfed quartermasters. So I'd like to think I had an impact on the game balance, damn it. Priests, meanwhile, increase loyalty, not relevant for my actual king, but can be very useful elsewhere, because otherwise rebellions can be seriously problematic, and siege engineers, would you believe, help with sieges. Now, as I've got such a large empire here, and as I need to be moving around it a lot, I'm going to go for a quartermaster. That additional movement range, I feel like that could be very, very useful indeed. Though, tragically, I can't quite get back into a city this turn, so as a result, I can't quite begin recruiting this turn either. And finally for this turn, yeah, 1,000 gold. What do I want to do with that? I could upgrade this little kind of clay pit into a proper pottery. That just gets me an extra 40 odd money, a bit of extra adjacency bonus to industry next over. I could actually upgrade my blacksmith to a forge, because bear in mind, yeah, if I train my armies in Colchester, they're better, because there's a basic blacksmith here. So, +1 armor, +1 weapons. So, that's pretty darn useful right there, yes. You know what? I'm going to save the money. Because next turn, I'm going to need money to invest into farming upgrades and also to buying this army. So that's probably good enough for my first turn. Let's see what else happens in the world. And in particular, we've got to keep a really close eye on Wessex. Luckily we can. Spies are gone, by the way. All agents are gone in this game. Now you just get free visibility on any territory or any province, full stop, that's a neighbour of yours. And if you own any kind of territory inside a province, even if you don't own the whole thing, you get full visibility of the rest of the province. So I can see these two territories, which is very, very nice indeed. And also, if you're trading with anyone, and that all happens automatically too, you just trade with anyone you're at peace with pretty much automatically. Trade just takes care of itself. You get visibility because your traders are like, you know, passing messages backwards and forwards. So actually, we've got not bad visibility of all the different Wessex settlements. It's not that bad at all. So, Wessex. We've got to, in particular, keep an eye out for any armies running east in my direction. Because as they own two territories and an incomplete province that would be completed by London, it's kind of only a matter of time before they decide I'm their logical first target. So I've got to be ready for that when that happens. And as quickly as possible for my first few turns, I've got to be throwing down food as quickly as possible, building up some armies as quickly as possible, because raiders are coming, the flipping English are coming, there's probably going to be trouble with the other Vikings as well. And okay, let's see what's going on in the world. So, Gwynedd has attacked Dewitt. I'm probably not pronouncing either of those correctly. So that's a little bit of a conflict in Wales. And where's that exactly? That's way over in Southern Ireland. That does not affect me, gotcha. Because obviously, yeah, little war's going to break out all over the shop. And as has been tradition in Total War for a while, rather than there being, like, you know, rebel settlements all over the map, now every single map starts off with 10 bajillion little tiny factions. And the tiny factions mostly will be eliminated pretty quickly. So these little snake guys down here, who have, yeah, one tiny starter army and two territories that have no walls, they're not going to be around for very long. And it would appear that the governor of London has actually leveled up, which is interesting. Apparently he's a merchant. He's making literally no money. So that's good. That's just... In fact, actually, I probably want to change them round. I probably would like to change him round. Let's give him a scribe right now. Because this guy has got the trait merchant. So that is... That's interesting, isn't it? Because by comparison, the guy who's actually in Colchester right now has preacher. So church buildings make additional money for him, but he's got no flipping church buildings. If I just reshuffle my governors, I might be able to make a nice bit of extra money here. He also has reduced construction costs for the Great Hall. Okay, luckily I've already taken advantage of that. So if I was to send him over to... Here we go. If I sent him to Randlesham, there's actually some good church income to be made here off the Shrine of St. Edmund. And he can use his power to do this upgrade for the cheaper. You, meanwhile, apparently are a negotiator. That's just plus 10% for the governed province, full stop. Fine. And he also produces better quality farmland. So potentially he wants to be... Okay, so everyone's just in the wrong place because there's more farmland up here in Norwich. Right, so Eowils, let's actually start redistributing all these flipping people. Okay, everyone's now been redistributed, and everyone now is in a space that makes a lot more sense for them. So, the guy who's good at market buildings is now in the place with multiple market buildings. Spot on. Right, Guthrum, get into Colchester. Let's actually get you a flipping army trained up here. And yes, indeed, we don't have much to actually give you. Now, even though his speciality is, like, you know, heavy infantry, I'm basically just going to give him all the bows and skirmishes I can, because they're very, very powerful at picking off cavalry and low-level generals units that haven't actually invested much yet into heroes and command. So, yeah, those guys hit like a brick, especially javelins. Javelins hit ludicrously hard. They're beautiful. So we'll definitely have them, and keep an eye on the amount of food I'm committing here and the amount of money. The money's basically insignificant, to be honest. Yeah, I've got another 8 units I could bring in. Honestly, that's pretty much all I can do. These guys, these spearmen, are super cheap, but they'll make up numbers, and they'll keep the enemy pinned while I get the better guys, or my archers, or my skirmishers, round the side. So I definitely want all of them. That's absolutely fine. Then we've got good quality axemen, or rather, these guys are crappy levy axemen. Then we get into better guys. Actually, these guys, even though they're not that good in terms of the melee damage, these guys do have the shield, which does help them on the old defense. These guys hit flipping hard and have very high melee damage, so they're proper little glass cannons. Definitely want some of them in the army, abso-flippin'-lutely. Now, the creme de la creme is the swordsman over here, but 80 gold maintenance is pretty bloody high. But on the other hand, I know for a fact trouble's coming sooner or later. Having this guy in my army now means that, yeah, as a result of that, he'll actually be ready to go when the fight kicks off properly. So that gets this army up to not terrible shape, all things considered. I'm also going to give them, yeah, 1 light horseman. This other horseman is, what's the difference? He's a lot more expensive. Oh yeah, bear in mind, horses are really expensive up front, understandably. They don't actually cost that much in terms of maintenance. Cheap scout horsemen, I might just have 1 of them purely for, you know, being a little bit of, well, it's a bit of a soft hammer these days. As I say, hammer and anvil works better with javelins and archers than it does with cav. Cav just don't have the hitting power they used to. Part of it is cav don't really have the big charge bonuses in the early game. Like, look at that, charge bonus 15 and 23. Like, my good quality axeman, he's got a charge bonus of 45. Right there. Like, these guys just don't hit that hard. So just 1 scout horseman, purely for chasing stuff down, that works for me. So I'm going to recruit all of them. And that is a lot of money I've just spent. But it's fine. I've still got food. Now, this guy up here, we can't do with him having nothing either. Because if he's got absolutely nothing, then if something shows up, there might be trouble. Because Guthrum, I'm going to want him to potentially head south and protect London if that's what needs to be done. So this guy probably wants to stay up north for the time being. He's also going to need some stuff, but look at this. There's now basically nothing left to recruit. This is why I'm upgrading the Great Hall immediately. So I'm going to give this guy, yeah, a couple of axemen, so he's got something that hits at least a little bit harder, and some light scout horsemen. But that's pretty much all my money spent. And in addition, I can't actually do that because I don't have the food to fund it. So I'll give him, yeah, 1 group of axemen and some horse. And that's going to have to do. That's literally all the army I can support right now until some of those farms start coming through. So I really hope we start getting some of them through. 3 turns. How many turns of? I've got 4 turns of internal stability. So yeah, in 3 turns time, I might need to start producing some more stuff. But we're training armies as fast as we can. And it looks like, yeah, luckily, our vassals do actually have a decent army on the field too. They're getting some good money from somewhere. So well done to those lads, at least. Now, as this army actually starts being trained up, let's have a look, see what we've got going on over here. Because, yeah, this may be Wessex, but not all of this is Wessex. Some of this over here, this is Kent, and this is Sussex. They're vassals, so it'll pull Wessex into the war, but Kent is a tempting first target if I were to go on the offensive. Because, as I've been discussing, I need food. And Kent has got itself food. And more food. And even more food. So that's very, very tempting indeed. So just swarming through Kent, not a terrible idea. On the other hand, however, look over here. We've got ourselves food in the hands of this little crappy army, and then one market hall up here in the hands of a faction who own literally just that. I could send this guy, as soon as he's actually finished training up his army, to basically mop up these two settlements, and maybe even get this one down, depending on how much of an army's here. That could potentially work out very nicely for me. Then I get money, and I get food. And that food's crucial. Need to keep an eye out for where the food is. Oh, you're lucky. You stupid horse guys with double flipping farms. Yeah, I might have eyes on you sooner or later. Right, get time ticking along here. Keep an eye on Wessex. Right now it looks like Wessex's armies are mostly over in the west, which works for me. Those are just some of the Viking factions near me moving around. Me and them should mostly get on. We're both Vikings, so culturally we've got a lot in common. Hopefully there's going to be no trouble there for the time being. Now, new turn. Someone has just leveled up. It's a governor. Hang on, which governor's that? Ah, the new governor in London. The useless London governor. No point giving him a scribe because London's not making any money. So, actually, what I could do is I could give him a champion, because then if London does come under attack, he can help defend it a bit better. But, actually, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to give him a priest for loyalty. Because, yeah, when I was playing as the Welsh previously, loyalty can cause trouble. Best to just have a little bit of extra spare loyalty. Now, what's changed in the world? Ah, this is interesting. So, up north, two fairly big factions are now at war. These bastards have attacked the Vikings just to the south of them. So they're going to keep each other busy for the time being. Doesn't affect me massively. That is... well, this is interesting. So the Stag people have also had the same idea as me, which is they've moved to attack the Snake people. So I know exactly where that is. The Snake people are now potentially at risk. This could be an excellent opportunity for me to move in and try and take them. Who else is attacked? And you... who are you? You're you. You have attacked the Seahorse people. That's these people. Right, so these factions are already being squeezed down. Let's just have a little look-see at this diplomatically. And we've got... ah, I see what's going on. So, you are in a defensive pact with you and you. So these three factions are grouped together in little Viking triumvirates who don't like these two guys at all, because they're basically clinging together, and these guys also like them. They're all basically friends, against Merce, the English over here. These Vikings, no one really likes them, which basically means their territory's up for grabs. Works for me, quite frankly. That could be an excellent little first acquisition in that case. Right. Let's get some people moving in that direction. How much do you have? Probably not much. 6, but probably damage, and I'm probably healing up faster than you. Right. Let's get you on the move over here. We need to get you moving in that direction. Actually, here's something of interest. I could declare war. My vassals would get involved. Ah, but I don't want my vassals to take that. Really? Well, actually, I wouldn't mind them taking that. But if my vassals take... yeah, it's this one I want, isn't it? This one's the one that's got the... yeah, that's got... ooh. That has got some good pastures coming in. That is plus 25 food right there. And some industry. If I could get that, that'd be very sexy. Yeah. Begin mobilizing my army to head in that direction. That could be an excellent first acquisition for me. And as for you, Guthrum, you are just training up your troops. Very, very nice indeed. Do I need to move them south immediately? No. No need to move them south. Let's keep them there just in case any flippin' raiders or anything show up. Just on the off chance, because I know for a fact it happens. Mainly because when I was playing as Welsh and Irish factions previously, I was constantly getting alerts saying, by the way, more raiders have spawned in. Terrible news for people living in England. So yeah, if you live on the English coast, be aware. Raiders are coming, like, constantly. And let's also get a bit of extra money in by upgrading one of these here salt pits, which I can just afford to do, which also provides a bonus to all income from salt, and I've got double salt right here, together with more market, more industry, more supplies, and an extra 10 food production as well. So that all works for me. Now, let's keep an eye on these guys over here. Because, oh... Wessex, are you moving east? Because if you are, I could be a little bit on the concerned side there. Right, so these guys have immediately run over here. Are you planning to take that settlement, or do you just want to sack it for some free money? Because bear in mind, Vikings have got a very good incentive to sack things, because they get tons of bonus income off sacking next to everyone else. So they might just want to sack the place, and then move on and not have to bother actually expanding. And also, who's at war with who? With a harp, that's got to be over an island. Yes, indeed it is. And who else has just actually managed to get themselves upgraded? It's the guy who's now in the religiously place, which has got the St. Edmund Shrine in it. Fine, we need money, give him a scribe. In fact, actually, I think these guys are at this point completely out of army. I'm not sure there's any actual army here anymore. So, okay. Problem is, it's now winter. If I move my troops, they take damage, but with literally no army, we should be able to basically get over here. Am I safe to use the road? 'Cause I think if I stick on the road, I don't think I take damage, even though I'm moving in winter. No, I'm okay. We're okay for the time being. Fine. That should mean I've got a nice easy pick-off of these guys next time right there. That's not the worst thing in the world. 1,200. Yeah, I do have a bit of an expensive army right now, and right now my economy's not coming through. I need to invest in my economy. Now, I saw Wessex moving. Honestly, they're a little bit worryingly close to my territory. Guthrum, begin moving south. I just want you to head south right now. Be in a position to get into London if you need to. Okay, just keep training up, keep refreshing your troops. We've not got the food to train any more. I can actually train more, there's no reason not to. But it leads to starvation. Starvation is bad, because then your troops don't regenerate, which kind of defeats the point of training them in the first place. So we don't really want to do that. Not at all, in fact. Right. Do I want to? Yeah, let's try and find some more stuff to spend money on here. That'll do. Super cheap and a little bit of more money in adjacency to industry, and there is some industry up here. That'll do for the moment. And also 3 turns until my actual pool of, actual troops is a bit bad. Actually, should I be doing that? I really should be focusing on... Actually, I've got a whole bunch of farming buildings about to come in. We'll be okay for the minute. We should have some more capacity coming in momentarily. Wrap things up there. Let's see if Wessex keep moving, or if they're just fortifying one of their towns, because technically, there's nothing wrong with them living in their own towns. So we've just got to be careful. And they did indeed take that settlement. Fine. That's a shame. I kind of wouldn't have minded having that one for myself. And we get our first here king choice. Yes, this is another mechanic you have to deal with as the Vikings. Because you're the Vikings and you've taken over a bit of England, but, like, you know, English people live there. So you have to make choices as to whether you make the English like you or your Viking army like you. So, right now, my army's at 0 and the English are +1. The English like it when, if you're taking on English factions, you, like, you know, ransom them and don't murder every single one of them and don't burn down the English towns and whatever. Meanwhile, the army just likes it if you fight a lot. So, what have we got here? You've managed to get hold of a large shipment of quality iron ingots from mines on the continent. So, what are we going to do? We could forge more plows or forge more weapons. Now, it appears that's not actually going to make a difference, like the quality of my troops or my farming or anything, though it would be nice if it did. Instead, we're just choosing who we actually please. Well, right now, I could do with the army being on side, because I feel like the army might actually, like, you know, need to do some fighting soon. So let's get the weapons and the army in. So, unfortunately, the English are a little bit sad. Very sad they didn't actually get, you know, plows or whatever. And, oh! In comes the first raiding fleet. The raiders are coming. Right, okay. Now, as a result of that, yes, now my actual army standing has gone up a tiny little bit. So right now, I get -5% upkeep for all my units, -4% recruitment cost for all my units, and +5% unit replenishment for all my armies, which is a very, very nice thing indeed. However, the English are not so thrilled because of what I just did. So as a result, my reputation towards Wessex and Merse has just dropped together with the smaller English factions like Kent and Sussex. Honestly, they already hated me, so probably doesn't actually matter that much. And a whole bunch of new war declarations, because, yeah, little faction going to start ceasing to exist very, very soon. In fact, actually, speak of the devil, I think the first one is about to cease to exist right now. We're going to declare war against these bastards, except we will defend ourselves. Okay, let's see how well you do. And, oh, you lost. Right, okay. So, yes, as a result of the fact that I'm actually Viking, I can sack this place, even though it's a tiny village, for tons of money. Like, any other faction would make far less than that, which is pretty good. Or I can occupy it, which is minus 10 happiness to the local area, which I believe is also the same area I've got a town in down south as well, because it's just a long, thin north to south province. But let's move in. I could probably do with whatever's here. I think it was a... Was it a church? Yes, and that faction ceases to exist. So I've got a church here and a church down south as well. What else is in this territory? It is a market town with a granary and... hunting. Bit of an annoying territory, actually, because, yeah, churches produce happiness, so therefore you want, like, you know, stuff that makes lots of money but unhappiness. So if I was ever to take over this area and integrate my vassal, probably what I'd want to do would be build, like, industry here, because I can offset any unhappiness using my churches. Now, as for me and you, dear people, like, I can't help but feel that actually we were just at war with the same person for a while, so how about me and you have a chat, yeah, 6 up to 7, me and them are starting to become friends. So how about we declare our friendship sufficient?
This seems fair enough.
Good. So me and them, unlikely to be going to war anytime soon. That works for me. Now as for this faction, however, they're only at war with... hang on. It's saying you're only at war with... Oh no, sorry, that's because I need to come out of this, then go over to this. You're at war with all of these people because they basically all go to war together. So, honestly, it could be a bit of a race for whoever can get up there first. And they've only got, well, they've got 4 people in their army, but they've also got a garrison. So that's another 6. So they've got 10 total. This force is not really in a position to go and do that, to be honest. So I should probably pull him back over here. Because, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the risk of raiders coming in. Now, we also could be running into trouble if Wessex decides this is the moment to launch an attack on London just as raiders are coming in. Now, if that's what actually is about to happen, then this guy probably needs to leg it south to London as quickly as possible. London could do with being upgraded, but I can't quite afford it. On the other hand, I do actually have some brand new... Can you make it from... Yeah, you can actually make it from here to London directly because you've actually got the quartermaster for the better marching. That works for me, and it's spring right now. I'm going to move this guy up to Colchester. In 2 moves, he can make it down to London again. Actually, let's leave him where he is right now. From where he is right now... If Wessex moves in this direction, how far can you get in 1 turn? I feel like Wessex are not 2 turns away from London. So as a result, in case those bastards come against me, let's get you heading north to Colchester. And the reason for that is I can actually train some more troops, potentially. Do I want to train more troops with... No, not you, because you're not my army. Okay. You, my good man, you need some more troops. But look at this, we're literally running out of troops to train. We've been a bit lucky. The skirmishes have regenerated pretty fast. Lots of other stuff has not. So have some skirmishes. And if this force might end up in London, then potentially we might want to have, yeah, more skirmishes and more... I'll give you some cheap axemen. There you go. So that's worth 20 food and a bit of money as well. So we're already spending the money. Those guys are just stuck in there this turn. That's fine. This frontier in the Empire is relatively secure, unless these guys get any stupid ideas. How about we try and declare friends with... No, we can't. Why? Why can't we? You're a vassal kingdom. Okay, that works for me. In which case, how about me and you have a chat? Because me and you used to be, like, friends. And no, not him. Him. Let's have a chat with your boss.
More mead. Fine talk will follow.
Okay, that was a good starting point. And right now, -2, but improving. So he's not going to go... No, he is going to go for that. Boom.
Let us shake on it.
Good. That is going to be good enough for him to hopefully not do anything stupid with his vassal. So me and him can just be friends, and life is good. He'll probably integrate that vassal sooner or later. So, as a result, me and him being friends is a good sign. And the game is also flagging that my new territories, because, yeah, this is part of the same province as down here, is a little bit unhappy, but that's fine. That's just the occupation. That'll wear off fast, and quite frankly, any province with a double church is at no risk of rebellion. That's okay. Now, as for the remaining bit of food, I can probably get one more thing into the army over here. What have I got with my main army with Guthrum, who might need to deal with some flippin' raiders that are now in the process of coming in? He does have some cavalry. His front line is probably a little bit on the flimsy side, to be honest. Anglian raiders. Those guys seem pretty nice and elite, yes. Or I could go for some more skirmishers. I wouldn't mind more archers, but no matter. Skirmishers are pretty damn powerful if you can just get around the side. No. I'm a Viking. Put your faith into the front line of good quality axemen. And also, in addition, of course, these guys are going to have upgraded weapons, upgraded armor across the board. Very, very nice indeed. With the exception of the guys I started with, who tragically, as far as I can tell, there's no way to retrain them. That's not a thing anymore. So I can't retrain these guys here in order to actually kit them out with a better quality weaponry. The rest of my money, however, I will actually save because, yeah, I might be able to use some of that next turn for some slightly more expensive farm upgrades because I still desperately need more flipping farm coming in. I mean, I'd love to have actually got this place, but it wasn't meant to be. Let's just quickly check the strategic map here. Is there any more food up for grabs? Not unless I want war with Kent, there's not. Or unless I want war with these guys. And again, I really rather wouldn't. I'd rather be friends with these guys and have them be a buffer state between me and Mercia. By the way, I am just going to completely randomly kind of mix up the version of the names that is listed in this game. The historical versions of the names we're more familiar with. So while this is called Merce, it's also referred to as Mercia. And also I'm going to blend in the ancient, modern, and what this game says version of each of these cities. So sorry about that in advance. I'll try and stop myself doing it if I can. So, Wessex, what are you... Oh! Wessex has pulled back. Good. Okay. They're not looking for a war just this second. Now, what the flip's going on here? The dear people... Uh-oh. What just... Oh, no! Guys, come on! Guys, seriously? You seriously want to... Alright, fine. That's fine. If you want to do this, I suppose you want to do this. So, as it turns out, one of the other Viking factions has attacked me. Except the faction that's attacked me is... these guys are technically in a defensive alliance, not a full military alliance. So, he hasn't pulled his friends in. But, regardless, yeah, we're going to bat for our vassals... Enter war on the side of the ally. Our little force that's just passing through is going to have to help out however he can. Yep, enter war on side of ally. Because I need to keep those guys as my vassals. He's just stepped in with 15 strength there. Fine, so he's the guy that just got that city up north. That makes my northern cities vulnerable. Very vulnerable. Okay, this is starting to spiral out of control. This is a very, very... here you go. Hello! Do you want to come ashore? No. So, Steinborg. And yeah, 2 factions have just been destroyed over there. And you have declared war against, yep, my vassal. Knew about that. Question is, how does that affect my relationship, or rather their relationship with all their friends? They still have that relation, and they've still got positive relations there. They've got a good strength army here. And if they wanted to march south, they could basically, yeah, come around here and have this off me. Basically, not much I could do to stop them right now because they've actually got a decent strength army there. And this settlement doesn't have walls. That's kind of why I wanted to have that for myself, unfortunately. Right. And these forces could, in theory, declare war on me as well immediately afterwards.
Enemy blood will flow.
Okay. There are options here. I could try and block up the bridges. But if I block up the bridge, he can't immediately start marching north. Probably best I just go and hang out in my own... but I kind of wanted this guy to be heading south. Wessex is hanging out over there for the time being. They are not walking at us just yet. They're probably... yeah, 2 turns minimum away from declaring war. Well, they could declare war even if they weren't actually ready to attack us. We're kind of stupid, though. This guy is just slowly training himself up. Unfortunately, as I've got no experience fighting on the sea, I can't fight on the sea. I've got to wait for them to come into land, which I'm hoping they'll do next turn. Then I can fight them on land. We've also got, yeah, low public order, and also we've got low public order here. Why? Buildings. It's because I just finished the salt pit over there. And in addition, the Great Hall's done. Well, that's nice. That might mean... hang on, let's just check the... there we go. The pool is bigger than it used to be, and it's going to refill faster as well. But right now, I'm lacking in options. Okay. What do I need to build here to make you guys chill the hell out? Perfect world. I would actually like an extra garrison in London to keep those guys safe, but nothing I can do with that just now. Probably best to save up for a church. Because right now, yeah, these buildings are not good. Not good at all. I need to... yeah, in fact, I probably shouldn't have actually built that there. That's risky. Right, okay. What I need to do is get a church built. The church is... oh, the church is flipping expensive. I may have made a slight error there. Right, I also need the governor locally to level up so I can actually boost the local happiness. Because right now, Colchester is... yeah. Well, -2. Current chance of rebellion is 2%. It's okay for the minute. Try and save up the money. Do I want this guy to head north to protect... okay, he has to head north. And hopefully my vassals come too. Because my vassals were the ones that were technically attacked. You are healing up. I could give you 1 more unit. That's all I can afford to give you. I will give you 1 extra unit of... yeah, 1 unit of javelins. The best I can do, sorry. Until these raiders are taken care of, then Guthrum can be deployed down south, or somebody can be deployed south, or Guthrum can be deployed north, and the other chap... sorry, what's your name, by the way? You're Gunnar! Right, then Gunnar can actually head south, and he can guard London, and we could potentially break this guy down. Perfect world. I just need to work on the economy till it's in a strong enough position that I can have an army guarding St. Albans and I can actually have the Roman walls and a garrison set up in London. At that point, we would actually be a formidable gateway that Wessex would struggle to penetrate. Right, end the turn. Let's see what Wessex does. And... marching straight back in. Not good. Not good at all. Now, that angry... ooh. That angry force has just run straight into the marshes. They are totally coming straight for me. Right, we might lose territory to them. Because I'm not sure I've got enough to stand in their way because they're throwing most of a full stack at me. Let's wait to see what happens here. Where are you? Aha! You've decided to come out on land, have you? Well, that just works perfectly for me. Except you've done it in winter. Which works less perfectly for me. Because that means... oh... hang on, if I beat them now, you guys immediately sign up. If you guys immediately sign up, that might actually be bad, because then does your army cease to exist? Interesting. Gunnar! Right, well, you could definitely do with some improved everything. Take a quartermaster, like right the flip now. Additional movement for you would be very useful. Can you make it 2? No, he cannot. This guy's just standing in the middle of a bog right now. I think he's trying to make it over here. But he's going to take a lot of attrition doing it. Well, one thing we absolutely have to make happen immediately. That group of raiders needs to go down. And I've got a good army here with good weapons. They're full strength, good armor. Some of them have got experience. We've got a good, solid king. Let's get in there, make this flipping happen. So, 50-50, first big match. What have we actually got here? They've got tiny number of archers. Right, so I've got a significant indirect advantage. They've probably got... Oh, yeah, they've got the infantry advantage. They've got proper good swords. Okay, this is going to be a tricky one. Now, what's the state of play? Pretty much... Yeah, flat with plenty of forest. Good for potentially hiding line of sight. These guys have got themselves a hell of a lot of infantry. It's just a massive line of infantry. There's a very real risk I could be badly outflanked here. Right. I'm the one with the archers, so I want this to happen in the open field. So I'm going to draw up over here and then approach them from this angle. Now, in line with my usual preferred strategy in Thrones, I've actually got my archers hidden at the back, but over on the flanks, together with these skirmishers. So, if need be, they can basically very easily run around the side and try and start pelting and otherwise flinging into the side. In fact, actually, I'm going to bring these guys into a hidden position too. Skirmishers have decent range, so I'm okay with that. Alright, start the battle. Let's see what we got here. And are they going to try running forwards to intercept ours, or are they willing to just basically play the part of the defensive? Looks like they are just repositioning to face us. Fine. But there's going to be no way to have this battle just plain on the open field. This battle is going to involve forests somehow or other. Now, not much I can do here. There's not really any high ground to grab. Yeah. Alright. Nothing too major. Just check the range of the archers. Nothing major going on there. Right now, we're still a very long way from each other. Alright, guys. Begin advancing. And, okay. Still no problems yet. Now, in my experience, what happens is the enemy chooses to start moving forward when you're just outside of archer range. So if I just basically just shuffle a little bit further forward here, just a little bit, just the tiniest bit further forward at this point, then sooner or later, they'll decide they want to be the ones to march forward. Which works for me, because I can be pretty confident that they are just a little bit... Oh, no. No, not too far forward. Be careful of the rocks and whatever. There we go. Thought so. So, now they're suddenly looking interested and moving. Good. As I would have expected, they've got their cav out on the flanks. I prepared for that because I actually had my... Also, you guys want to be in flaming mode, please. All of you are not on skirmish mode. I put my spearmen out on the flanks to deal with that. So, precisely spot on, if I do say so myself. So, archer lads, first job, see off the enemy cav, please. So, focus on them. And focus on them. And you lads start moving over there. You lads also on flaming arrows. Focus on them. And you lads start heading over here. So, first move is going to work out very, very nicely indeed. These guys can just focus on whatever they want. And, yeah. Try. And the trees do catch fire, which is pretty damn cool. I like that. Right, you guys just try and pin down these guys as best you can. If you can basically hold them in place, that's fine. Trees are very much on fire. Right, okay. My spearmen are in control over there. My archers are firing at these guys who are, yeah, okay for the time being. You guys just hunt them down. You guys just be ready to do something to help out. You guys at this point can probably, yeah, go back to normal and fire at whatever, to be honest. I need to be in a position to... Who are you? You're just basic archers as well. These guys are down to 53, and they're going to fall very, very quickly. They are low threat to you, so you'll absolutely tear them apart. You guys go to normal shot and get back into a better position to hold everyone else still. This flank has gone very, very well indeed. These guys are going to struggle to do anything here. If you want to get one more shot over there, that's fine. And it is all starting to go pretty well over there as well. You guys, see off these guys. Right, so the main line is coming in. Time to begin doing... but there's long axes over there. Long axes over there. These archers need to get into a good position. Where are they? Are you shattered? You're broken, but there's only 14 of you left. I need you to get over here. I need you guys to get over here to start firing into the side as quickly as possible. These javelin men are doing good work. You guys get over here and slam into these guys. You guys just run over there as fast as you can. The long axes are weirdly going way over there. There's... How much is over here right now? There's just horses over here. Right, horses, disengage yourselves. And if you can, you guys may as well just fire over here, quite frankly, with standard shot. You guys start trying to work around the outside. No, definitely don't go that way. That way was a terrible way. Just get on top of these guys. The horses need to basically get round over here and slam into the back of these guys. Men are starting to break. Who is breaking? Is that over on this side where we have got that spearman taking on these bastards? That is... Oh, the Viking scouts are backs. Of course they are. Right, who's the guy that just broke? It's part of this line over here. Right, the problem is they absolutely have the superior infantry right now. My general needs to get in there to reinforce. So my general is now being committed. You need to get over here. You guys need to get over... No, don't get confused by the rock. Do not get confused by the rock, please. Do not get confused by the rock, okay? You guys, these are... No, those are spearmen. Those are axe herdmen. Right, let's hit them in the back with the cavalry. But you will notice, it just doesn't have the hitting power it used to. It really doesn't, so it's not going to do that much good. However, I can see off their skirmishers, which works at least for the moment. These archers are not currently doing anything. They can be committed over there. You guys need to hit these guys. You guys, I think, broke and then recovered. You guys need to get back in there, to be honest. And now my archers are finally in a position to start firing directly into the flank of some other bits and pieces. Yeah, my horses can just basically do nothing but see off these guys. And my general might yet carry the day. You guys just fire over here. There we are. In come my archers firing at these lads. They're going to start taking damage very, very quickly indeed. My horses start seeing off all of these, chasing off their skirmishers, which is useful. Scouts are being seen off. The enemy are rallying. Okay. This is right now not looking good, but it's not a disaster. Not just yet. Right. You guys, you're breaking. You guys are... Hang on, who's that over there? That is just spearmen taking on long axes. Well, that's basically a sacrificial unit, to be honest. That's not going to do anything. Archers can just continue firing over the top. You guys keep these guys busy. My archers might just be enough to carry the day. My archers just firing in from the side as fast as they can. You know what? There's a chance. There's a chance that my general might have the ability to swing his way through all of this right now. And the enemy general's dead. Okay, that's my one chance. That's my one flipping chance here right now. The enemy general just passed away, which is nice. So at this point, where are my horses? See off these archers. Get over there. Hit them, please. Our men have rallied. Good. Get them back in, please. Archers, fire over here at these axe herdmen. You guys, do you have any ammo left? I'm guessing you don't, to be honest. They're exhausted. They're shaken. If we can just trigger the rout, our general might be able to carry the day yet. You bastards, turn and fire over there, please. You bastards, hit over here. Just fire into them. My archers have apparently just been on the run. You've managed to recover. You guys just get over there. Hit these guys. These guys are exhausted and wavering. We might, just be able to carry this. Technically, it is swinging it. Yep. It is swinging in my favour. Because we picked off the enemy general. The archers on the side, I think, did a huge amount of work. And the enemy turn and run. Blimey, where are my horses? Right, well, good news, lads. I want these guys all run down. This is why I brought horses with me, damn it. Who technically hasn't broken yet? It's you guys. You haven't broken yet, technically. Right, get behind these guys. No, they've just broken. Get over here. Hit these guys. Get the archers out of there, because this force kind of needs to immediately go on and, like, you know, do several other battles, because we're not in good shape right now. See, this is why it's useful to have a champion with your general. It means your general can stand and fight and fight and fight some more. Right, you guys turn and prepare to shoot on these bastards because they are about to be shot and shot and shot and shot and shot and wavering, and oh, look how that suddenly changed around. Now you're being shot in the back and you don't like it one bit. Whew. Right. Get these guys sorted out here. I don't want to see any of these lads again. Here we go. This is the big one. I want all of the elite sword infantry picked off. I do not want those guys coming back another day. So sort them out, please. Right. Sword pretty much finished off. Happy to end the battle there. Whew, Pyrrhic victory. You're not kidding. But I might just have gained a huge pile of territory. And if I'm lucky, an army strong enough to help me survive if I could merge it with my own. I really hope I get my vassal's army with me for this. So, he dies, and by the way, I could have 500 money. Or I could have, no, I need the unit replenishment. Take on the warriors. And he's not quite dead yet. Finish him the bloody hell off. Alright, get it done. Fight aggressively. Yeah, screw you, I stabbed you in the beard. Right, we got rid of him now. Yeah, we got rid of him. Good. Continue getting the good replenishment. So, I have just managed to get... Ooh. Okay. I've just managed to pick up a whole pile of territory. And war fervor's going up. That faction doesn't exist. Here, king, diddly diddly dee. Right, so, do I get the... No, when you handed over the territory, what you decided to do after that point was you decided to actually disband your own army. Which I feel like didn't help very much, to be honest, but this guy might have to flee back over here. We might just have to try and hold this territory. But this army now needs to be dealt with. Oh, what the bloody hell are we going to do now? Right, you need to get back to flipping Colchester and just start healing up, like, as soon as possible. Because bloody Wessex is there. Right flipping there. And if they wanted to, they can just basically walk into, yeah, St. Albans, then Hereford. And there's nothing we can do about it. Ah, but this could be useful. Second tier of quartermaster. Does that give you... No, darn it, you can't use that to get bonus movement points the same turn as you assign it. That's a shame. And this new territory I now control needs itself a governor. Ah, now this guy's good. Preacher, plus 20% money from church. Well, there are at least 2 churches inside that territory. So, welcome aboard. That's going to cost 500 to do. Well, we did need a governor. And better, this has actually got me some food. So now, even if I lose the farm at St. Albans next turn, at least it won't be a disaster. Because I've picked up 35 food from there. I've got, yeah, that there. Okay, fine. So I do have some food. What does this do, by the way? Plus 15 food production. Okay. I've got some food in hand. Bloody hell. Right, so... Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it a part there. Welcome to our new series of Total War, Thrones of Britannia. We will be playing through Thrones of Britannia. Oh, bloody hell. This is interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. Any chance... Okay, these guys like me. The chance of them attacking me doesn't feel high, hopefully. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? We will figure it out. I'm going to do another part of this tomorrow, and then we'll settle this in to a nice little weekly schedule. Honestly, I don't think this is actually going to be a very long series. The Total War Saga games were designed to be a bit smaller in scale and shorter. So I do not anticipate that this will be a massively long series at all. I do not think it will be more than a few weeks. So... hopefully, you join me on this adventure as the Vikings attempt to take and control the rest of England. Even though, yeah, it's looking a little bit on the difficult side, to be honest. This has been a very, very tricky start indeed. So, we will see how I manage to get on with the blatant invasion of Wessex tomorrow. But in the meantime, I've been John. It's been many a true nerd. And this has been Thrones of Britannia, a Total War Saga. Thank you very much, and goodbye. I've created a small problem in my road system, which is, it's literally impossible for anyone to ever go back into town. And this building shall be where we produce our zebras. And this much taller building next door is naturally where we produce the giraffes. Does anyone remember how the road system went? I think it was something like this.